listening to The Daily American. Now here's your host, Dan the Man.
All right, we're back with The Daily American, and tonight actually, we're down in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We have a special guest with us. Welcome, Mr. Jimmy Curan.
My man, Dan.
Thanks for having me here. We're down here at Jimmy's apartment, hanging out. We got the skyline behind us, beautiful Philadelphia, and we got a super exciting, story, a story of perseverance tonight. Jimmy, why don't you kick us off with a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, my name's Jimmy. I'm 32 years old. I've been living with spinal muscular atrophy my entire life. So, living as a person with a disability, naturally, I am a disability advocate. So I've, in that vein, I started a brand that's able to change society's perception of disability, and I've written a children's book to teach children self-acceptance, inclusion, as well as perseverance in the face of adversity. And then full-time, I work at a health insurance company where I am a strategy analyst. I've been there for about 10 years. So that's in a nutshell what I've done and what I've accomplished. But, at a very basic level, what I think many people overlook is that I'm just a regular 32-year-old guy, just like many of you out there.
Yeah, so you don't let your disability. Let's touch on that a little bit. We got spinal muscular dystrophy. Atrophy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's similar to.
Yes, it's a form of muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are a bunch of different types, but SMA is the one that I have.
Gotcha. SMA?
Yep.
Okay. Now, currently to treat this, what do you got going on? I mean, you're taking some medicine?
Right, so it's very exciting. My entire life, there had never been any treatments available for my disease, which made for many frustrating doctor's appointments when I would go there and they would monitor my disease, but never had any tools or medicines for me to help manage my disease. But within the last 5 years, they've come out with a gene therapy for babies who are diagnosed with my disease, as well as 2 different medications that are supposed to stop the progression of the disease. So I'm on one of those currently.
Okay, so so it's kind of has it at a stagnant point. However, if you're born with it today, you have a high chance of being cleared from it completely due to the new medication that's available.
Yes, it's very new, so they don't know the long-term impact. So, lifelong, they cannot say that yet, but the babies who are born with my disease that take that medicine are doing all of the things that a healthy baby would do. So it seems that, it's breakdown of the symptoms of the disease.
Okay. Are there any, obviously you can't remember when you were a baby, but are there any symptoms or any key, I don't even know the word I'm trying to put to I guess help diagnose it or at least help bring attention to it at a very young age? I mean, I imagine it's very difficult because most babies, all are similar.
Right. So there were symptoms early on, like I had very little neck control. I was never able to crawl the way a baby would.
Okay.
And these were signs that my mom picked up on and then, took me to several different doctors to get their opinions. And, that came to the conclusion eventually. I think that I was 9 months or so old that I had SMA. So it was evident early on, and my mom picked up on that and got me the diagnosis so that we could move forward from there.
Gotcha. In basic terminology, just so the audience can understand, what is SMD or SMA? Like, or the differences, or?
So it's a genetic disease. At a high level, my disease I would describe as just generalized weakness
Okay.
in all my muscles that are voluntary. So like my organs are not affected. My heart, my lungs, liver, those things are not impacted, but all of my muscles that we use are just very weak.
Understood. Now, your muscles may not be equal to every 32-year-old male. However, your brain power has clearly has gotten you pretty far so far in your life.
Yeah, I think that being able to excel in academics and then in a social context as well, I've been able to network and make friends, meet people that have opened doors for me that has gotten me to where I am today. I'll tell a cool example. So when I was in college, about to graduate, I was looking for a job, and I must have went on over 30 interviews and didn't receive any job offers. But in college, I had become close with the basketball coach at Temple, where I went to college, and he saw me one day on campus, asked me what I was doing post-graduation. I told him that I was looking for a job, but I hadn't found one. He told me to forward him my resume, and then he forwarded it to the CEO of Independence Blue Cross, and then I interviewed with the CFO, which is not normal procedure for an entry-level candidate, but I'm very grateful that they found a position for me, and it opened that door, and now I've been there for 10 years.
Wow, 10 years, a decade.
Yeah.
What do you do for them, Jimmy?
I am a senior competitive research analyst in the strategy department. So all of my work is on the computer. I do a lot of research, a lot of presentations. I said that I do a lot of competitive intelligence, primary and secondary market research to help inform different business decisions.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That's pretty high level. Like I said, your ability to use your brain to excel is something to be said, Jimmy. I mean, that's a story of perseverance in itself. However, Dick Cheney, he was the one who saw you. Is that the Temple coach? Who did Dick Cheney coach?
No, he was a VP. You know John Cheney.
John Cheney. Yeah, Dick Cheney. Yeah, he was Bush's vice president. God, I'm gonna have to edit this out. John Cheney. So he was.
He died this year.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
So he was a coach before I got there. I never had the opportunity to meet him, but Fran Dunphy, who was the coach at UConn for years before coming to Temple, was the coach when I was there.
Gotcha. Yeah. What a schmuck comment that was by me. Anyhow, let's talk about disabled.
Yep. So Disable is a clothing brand that I started in 2013 to change the perception of disability. Um, the logo has this crossed out to put an emphasis on the abilities that people with disabilities have. And I sold merchandise for a number of years after that, and then I extended the brand by creating the children's book under that brand with the same intent. And I visited over 30 elementary schools in and around Philadelphia to help spread that message and promote the book. So that is what Disable includes to date, but I'm always thinking around new ways to help change society's perception of disability, because I think that there are many false stereotypes about people with disabilities.
Sure, I can agree with that. There's definitely some stereotypes with disabilities in general, whether they're physical disabilities, a disease as a disability, a mental disability. I think the general perception with somebody with a disability is naturally that they're disabled, and for you to cross out that dis and make them able, I mean, that's incredible.
Disability just means that you have to do things differently. It doesn't mean that you're not able to do something. And that's a life lesson that I learned early on from my parents, that there's more than one way to get from point A to point B, whatever those points may be for each individual. But disability doesn't need to stop you from doing anything.
That's phenomenal, Jimmy. I mean, there's, for you to take your circumstances and the hand you were dealt and figured out a way to play those cards and turn into, a positive journey you're on in regards to Disable the brand and the book that you wrote, the children's book.
You only have one life to live, so this is the hand that I was dealt, and I'm so grateful for the hand that I was dealt, in that I have an amazing family, amazing friends, an amazing support system that has enabled me to make the most of the hand I was dealt. And if I were to not do that, I think that I'd be missing a great opportunity and letting people down who invested so much in me, mainly in my family.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is that you have just, you found almost your purpose, and you're running with it. You're taking off, and you were traveling across the nation with the Disable the brand. And how many schools has your book? Is it just in the Philadelphia area? And this book is called, God, I'll let you say it, Jimmy.
Will the One Winged Eagle. It's a children's book, and so I visited over 30 elementary schools in and around Philadelphia. I have not traveled extensively for the book, but when I was selling merchandise, I traveled to Chicago, Kansas City, Boston, New York, and everywhere in between. So it's been a great experience, and I'm always encouraged by the support that I receive via the brand and all of those who share that belief that people with disabilities are not limited. They just need to do things differently.
I agree with that 100%, Jimmy. And I'm sure a lot of the audience that will listen will agree with those words as well. How many copies of the book have been distributed? Do you know?
So somewhere a little north of 2,000 books. So it's been doing well, and everywhere I go, I'm able to sell it. It's just the hardest part about being a self-published author is spreading the word and getting it out there to make people aware of it. So I have it online. It's on Amazon. It's on my website, and I do the school visits to help promote it. But it is difficult to put the word out. But thus far, it's been doing very well.
Well, hopefully the Daily American can help get the word out a little bit more, and
it will.
I hope so. How many? So the book is a children's book, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What's the? I mean, I don't want to give any spoilers out there, but give us a quick summary. Obviously, it's called Will, the One-Winged Eagle.
Yes. And so the book is somewhat of a metaphor for my own life, and that in the book, Will is trying to learn to catch food. But the primary way that his peers catch food is by flying and coming down and getting its prey. But since Will is not able to fly, he has to find another way to catch food. And you'll have to read the book to find out the rest.
You guys should definitely check out Will, the One-Winged Eagle. Obviously, I consider it a metaphor for your life, Jimmy. I'm not sure if that's the premise behind the book or for other disabled folks, but I think it's a pretty awesome concept that, most birds or, anything that really flies to catch food, if you don't have your wing, you can't fly. You got to find other means.
Yes.
To get that food, just like you said. And I feel like you found other means to get after it as well, whether that is, financially with working for Independence Blue Cross.
Yep.
Disabled the Brand. That would be www.disabledthebrand.com. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
You're right.
Awesome. He's got the disabled clothing line. You guys should definitely check that out. He's got some sweet tank tops, hoodies. I saw an awesome hat on there. It's all priced very competitively, so it's definitely something you guys should check out. I know a few people that have bought some items, and they rave about them, and I see them wearing them to the gym, or it's awesome. It's out there, and it's something Jimmy created, and he found a way to get the food.
Yes, exactly. But one thing that I would love to share on this podcast are some of the obstacles that are in people with disabilities' way as it relates to advancing in society. For example, I receive home care. Aides come and visit me or help me throughout the day. The services cost in excess of $100,000 a year, but I'm very fortunate that Medicaid covers that. Now, as a result of being on Medicaid, I am not able to earn in my name over $63,000. And last year, or 2 years ago, when I was promoted, I had to share that there's a limit on the amount that I'm allowed to make. Now, you see how that could be frustrating and put a glass ceiling over people with disabilities, because if I'm not able to earn over $63,000, I will never be able to afford to pay $100,000 for the services. So there's that kind of stifles a lot of people like myself in their careers because of these policies. And I love the name of this podcast, and I think that those policies are very un-American to prohibit someone from reaching their full potential and contributing to their maximum ability.
I agree with that, Jimmy. I do. Now, you're kind of trapped. You've kind of hit that. Even if you make $150,000 a year, and $100 of it had to go towards your care, then realistically you're still down $13,000 for the year.
Exactly.
So that doesn't seem too fair. Now, I don't know too much about the insurance industry. I know it's corrupt. With that being said, two things. If you were to move to private insurance, would that work, or would that just be way too expensive?
There are no private insurance policies that cover home care on an indefinite basis. Like, they'll cover you, say you're in the hospital and then you're injured, you come home, they may send a nurse to your house for a few weeks. But there are no plans that cover the type of services that I receive. I don't think that the issue is with the insurance, but rather with the government. I think that the government should allow me to pay into the cost of the services as I make more money. So if they charge me a percentage of my salary or income, rather than just saying, after this amount, you're no longer eligible.
Got it. Essentially, you think you should, pay a copay.
Yeah, and I do.
Okay.
I do pay a copay already, but after a certain amount, they don't accept the copay. They just take you off eligibility.
Unreal. It sounds like, this certainly isn't just affecting you.
No. There are many people who have disabilities that choose not to work because they don't want to jeopardize those services. And in reality, if I were to not work, the government would pay me a disability check every month and it would cost them more money. But instead, I choose to not receive a disability check and work for my income, but then they cap me at that amount.
So you're doing the right thing by not sitting back and collecting a disability check when you could.
Yeah.
So you're going out there and working full time every day, and the government, rather than saying, Jimmy, we appreciate what you're doing. You're actually giving back to the system in a way by going out there and working full time, but we're going to stick it to you anyway because usually that's how the government works.
And it presents a really challenging situation because the policies that are in place also limit you only allowed to have one residence, one car. You're not allowed to have more than $10,000 in liquid assets. And you're not allowed to have a retirement fund.
In order to qualify for Medicaid?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that is very unfair because someone who has a disability like me, there's no telling how long I'll be able to do what I'm doing right now, in that I'm working full time and writing books and doing other things, but I'm not even able to prepare myself for that day when I'm not able to do this. I'm not allowed to invest or own an investment property or earn a certain amount of money. You know, it leads you to be poor at some point.
Yeah, that's certainly, not fair considering that you're busting your ass writing books, startup companies, which I wouldn't consider a rookie company anymore, disable the brands out there. You did some travel around the nation for that. And you're working full-time for Independence Blue Cross.
Right, and just like the business that you just mentioned that I started, I'm not even allowed to own that in my own name because if the business earns over a certain amount, I would lose eligibility for those services.
So you're essentially operating out of a straitjacket. I mean, you can't do anything.
Right.
This sounds like it's the system has got you strapped down and hopefully this video can reach somebody and this podcast somebody will hear it of some sort of importance and possibly I don't even know where to start in regards to that, but possibly contact a senator or
well, on a positive note, there is legislation currently in the PA House. So it passed the Senate already, and it's now in the House to raise their income limit for those of us with disabilities. So I am optimistic that the policies will change, but these are challenges that people like myself face currently and have for years already.
Yeah, that nobody, I haven't heard it. I don't watch the news too much anymore, but I haven't heard anybody else talking about any issues like this. So this is where the Daily American can come into play and bring these issues to the forefront.
Yeah, my brand preaches that people with disabilities are capable and able to do all these amazing things, but a lot of times it will be the government that stands in the way of a person with a disability truly reaching their full potential. So I'm hopeful that the policies will change and it will allow for more people like myself to contribute and let people see how able we are.
Absolutely. How do you know how high the threshold is being proposed to go?
600% of the federal poverty level. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I think that it's double what it is now. So I think it's like 120,000 if I'm doing the math right, but I'm not certain on that.
Understood. Yeah, you'd still be considered middle class, but the middle class is so high at this point. I mean, the margin from what's considered middle class is so high right now that 63,000 being doubled to almost 126 or 120,000. That's significantly more, and it gives you,
more room.
Exactly, a lot more room, and that's what we're looking for.
Yep. Exactly.
Jimmy, if you had one piece of advice for anybody listening, what do you think it would be? It's a tough question right off the top because the Daily American's always non-scripted.
I think that some rules are meant to be broken, and that the rules are there for a guideline, but sometimes they don't make sense, and when they don't make sense for your well-being, or like they're not in your best interest, then you need to be creative and determined to find a way, because don't let rules stand in the way of you and your friends.
That's awesome, Jimmy. The Daily American always forever will welcome you back, and we appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.